Gosh dang it, I swear, Bri.
Episode 41, and we're still
Learning.
figuring this crap out. Okay, this is What's with the Neighbors, blah, 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 True Crime Paranormal Podcast. That's Amy.
That's right.
Okay, so anyway, we just did this. Luckily, we're only like 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
We are not re-recording. We are going off of double recording from last week's episode, so
Yes.
we're trying not to be burned out. But
Correct.
we're a little bit frustrated because we're at episode 41 and we're still having tech problems.
We are.
Or maybe just, ghosty problems, but who knows. Do you guys think that bad energy could go into the room? Please let us know if you think that, if you've even experienced anything like that. Like, have you ever had, like, bad energy go into a room and just, like, happens? It's so random, too.
Yeah, it's on random episodes. And if you did, let us know. And if you have any ideas, tell us.
Or if you're in the area and you want like and I'm dead serious when I say this, if you want like a what's it called, where you work for someone for free,
If you
we'll give you a hell of a recommendation
want to be an intern for us.
Yes, you can edit for us and make sure our equipment isn't on the fritz,
And you get to hang out with us.
Yeah, we're fun.
Every Friday.
If you're of legal age, we will supply you booze. Don't
If
take
you
that
buy
out.
it. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
If you buy it. Also, can you buy us some too? I like the White Claws. Amy likes
Alaskans.
Chico Loco or Alaskans.
Yeah, Chico Locos.
Or
Those are
today,
yummy.
Truly's.
I tried
That
it.
is
It's
so
It is
good.
really yummy.
I want to go buy one.
You should.
I'm going to go buy one
You should.
right now,
Okay. Can we do that episode first?
I guess.
Okay.
Are you moving that again?
It's an accent. It's right where my
I'm
feet
sorry.
are.
It just scares me.
Because
It's
not,
like,
it's I
it's
don't
right
know
there in my
why.
face.
It's not underneath the rug.
It's okay.
For some
You're fine.
reason.
Move it. I just know it's you.
No, I don't want to move it because I don't want to mess anything up. But I keep doing it. 'cause
Don't.
it's right where my
I didn't think
feet
about
are.
that. Okay.
Tell me a neighborhood story, please.
Okay, I will do that.
Sorry, that was really bossy.
Please stop throwing meat.
Oh my god, I
Raw
thought you were.
Raw chicken, hot dogs, or bacon out of your window into the alley.
Oh my god.
You're not feeding the cats. Meat keeps on landing on our AC unit.
Oh,
Dear God, that must be so smelly. I knew you'd think I was talking to you. It was like perfect timing. Stop.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. What's that from next door?
It was from Google. Sometimes I look up funny next door notes or notes from neighbors.
Thinking that I was being attacked just now, I texted my sister a TikTok today of the Roe versus the abortion thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent her a funny TikTok on it, and I sent her one like earlier that I think I sent it. I can't remember. Maybe it was a meme, but I sent it to her and I thought it was funny. And she wrote back, or I said, "LOL, I'm dying." And she wrote back, she said, "Please stop crying." And I was like, "I'm not crying. I thought the TikTok was funny. I'm not crying about anything. What the heck?" And she was like, "No, I meant like LOL. Stop. I'm crying." Like, I'm crying. But she didn't say I'm crying.
Like the whole punctuation thing.
Yeah. I was like, what the heck? I'm not crying. I was like,
I'm good. I swear.
For like a solid like 10 minutes, I'm like, why would she think I'm crying?
You have been getting the wrong idea from everybody all day today. Like earlier when you got, whenever I told you, I was like, what did I say about you getting booze?
Oh yeah, you're like, oh yeah, that's a necessity.
Yeah, you said I have to go get booze first before recording, and I was like, that's a necessity. And you're like, okay, I will. I'm sorry, you're right. And I'm like, and I had to call you, and I'm like, I'm not getting on to you. Like, it is. As I drink my White Claw.
I don't know.
You got me some too.
Maybe I'm just sensitive.
It's okay, buddy. I love you.
Thanks. Love
Do you have a story for me?
Yeah, I have a really good story.
All right.
So
I'll be the judge of that.
Actually, you're right.
as will
I'm
all of
not
our
sure.
listeners.
I did not think it was that good, but I was like, all right, well, if what's her name? What's that lady's name that I told you about?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Anyways, so I was like, murders during Independence Day, because this comes out 2 days before 4th of July.
What?
Yeah,
America.
I found a shooting that happened last year.
I like other countries too, but I live in America, so I'm
yeah,
American
we gotta
and
support it. I
America.
guess.
I definitely support it. Hell yeah.
But last year, there was someone that like shot like 180 people during
Ooh.
4th of July in
Oh.
Chicago.
Was it out in public?
Yeah.
I remember. Okay.
Yeah. So I kept getting that, and I'm like, oh, fine. I'm not looking that up. Like, there's nothing. And then there was also a Nancy Drew book about fireworks, the death of fireworks or something. It was very cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. But so I really wasn't finding anything. And I
Okay.
was like, well, all right. Let's go with the first state that was signed into the original 13 states that made the United States into the Constitution, which was Delaware.
Oh, okay.
So I was like trying to be a little patriotic.
No, it's not South Carolina, because South Carolina was the first one to
have slaves.
Succeed from
Yes.
the Union.
Yeah. No, this one, it was the first state,
Yes.
Delaware. But the murderess, the person that was murdered.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do
That's
that.
okay. The person that was murdered, it happened around July 4th weekend.
Oh.
So I just kind of got lucky with that one.
There we go.
Yeah. So, da-da-da.
Got lucky with a murder.
Hey, not everyone gets lucky with a murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about the disappearance of Anne Fahey. I'm going to tell you about the disappearance of Anne Fahey.
How's it spelled?
Fahey. Fahey.
Maybe it's Faye.
Faye.
It's probably Faye.
Can I please say Fahey? It's
Yep.
really funny.
Yep. Faye.
Fahey.
Yep.
No, I'll say Faye. So I'm gonna tell you.
Welcome to our train wreck.
I hate it here sometimes. I'm gonna tell you about the disappearance of Anne Fahey. But first, I have to tell you about Thomas Capano. I know how to pronounce it. First, I'm going to tell you about Thomas Capano, her lover and possible killer.
Ooh.
Bum, bum, bum.
Whoa, twist.
Yeah. So
You're good.
okay. Thomas was born on October 11th, 1941 in Delaware. He was one of 4 brothers and was part of a multi-million prominent family.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Who were real estate agents, developers, and contractors. Thomas was a pretty smart guy. He ended up going to law school and becoming a lawyer. Then
Is yours the bottom mic?
Yes. Mine
Okay,
says
just making
Bri.
sure.
No, mine's Bri.
Okay, just making sure. I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah. So he started out as a lawyer. Then he became a state prosecutor. Then a city attorney for the city of Wilmington. Then the legal counsel for Governor Mike Castle. Then a political consultant. I don't know if it's safe to say that
really moved up in the political.
Yeah. So it was safe to say that he was well known in the political circles.
Absolutely.
But also, it sounds like he can't hold down a job.
Yeah.
Unless, you're just
but that's
working your way
something that
up.
you constly jump up on. Like,
you're
up.
constantly
Yeah.
moving. Yeah. So he had 4 daughters and a wife.
You almost said dollars.
Doll hairs.
He only had 4 doll hairs.
In 1994, Thomas started to see the appointment secretary for the governor at the time, Anne Marie Fay. And Anne was a very attractive 30-year-old and was part of another well-known family in Delaware. So they dated for a couple months, but of course, since he was married, they had to, keep their dating a secret. After a few months of dating, she wanted out because he ended up being pretty aggressive and controlling. And she's like, I want out of here.
Nope, bad sign.
Yeah. So she ended the relationship, or so she thought, which left Thomas all alone. I literally did a sad face.
Sad. Me.
Because his wife also left him after finding out about the affair.
Oh, no. You cheated on your wife and she left you?
Yeah. Poor Thomas.
So sad.
A few months later, she started dating a different man. He was super...
Anne did, or his wife?
A few months later, Anne started dating a different man. He was super sweet and understanding. Like, she was hoping, to put a ring on it, that sort of thing. She loved this guy. But she continued to get calls from Thomas. He would show up at her house unannounced and was like borderline stalking her. I shouldn't say borderline. He was definitely stalking her. She definitely feared for her life. But that didn't stop her from being the one person that stood up to him, because he was not used to being told no. And she's like, nope, I don't care. She told him, get out of my life. Yeah. So on June 27th, Thomas somehow managed to persuade Anne to his home. Shortly before July 4th, Anne had not shown up to work. Her phone calls were going to voicemail. She was missing. No one knew where Anne was. And so on the weekend of July 4th, along with a reward for information on her disappearance, a search party of hundreds of citizens gathered around to look for her. And unfortunately, no one found anything, no evidence. Because her last known whereabouts was in Pennsylvania and she was from Delaware, her case became a federal investigation because it was cross state lines. And credit cards and telephone records were pulled of Thomas, and that is when they realized that Thomas made a $308 purchase at a wallpaper warehouse 2 days after Anne disappeared. And the special agent assigned to the case and U.S. attorney thought that was super odd that he bought $308 worth of wallpaper, because
it was weird.
He rented a house only a few blocks away from Anne's.
Okay.
So they're like, you can't really just do that when you're renting a house, especially around that time. So they called the number on the credit card statement, and the person that answered said air-based carpets. And they're like, that's weird. Okay. So they actually immediately thought that she was rolled up into a carpet. But they can't just obviously arrest someone off of a hunch. And
why would you do that?
Roll someone up in a carpet?
Yeah, that's really stupid. You can see them.
Yeah, but it's easier to transport.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess.
Because then you don't have
that makes sense.
limbs everywhere, and it soaks up the blood.
It's a burrito.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
So, unfortunately, they can't arrest someone off of a hunch, and that's going to be like our constant theme here, unfortunately. So
everything's off a hunch.
Yeah. So they questioned his house cleaner, who was scheduled to clean 4 days before Anne disappeared. She told the detectives that Thomas actually canceled his cleaning, stating his home didn't need to be cleaned because his children didn't stay over.
Sus.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, that goes weird.
That goes weird.
And they're like, or I wrote, which made the detectives go, Things that make you go, Considering when he was first interviewed about her disappearance, he said that night his children were asleep upstairs. So they're like, so you're telling your house cleaner one thing and you told us something else.
Yeah.
So your story's not lining up. 3 weeks later, the cleaner came for cleaning and noticed that the love seat and a carpet were gone. Do you want another one?
Nope.
And they were replaced with 2 chairs and a carpet. So when I say carpet, I mean like a rug.
Okay.
So
something was on it.
had to have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the evidence of the new carpet and the knowledge she was brought to his home on June 27th, they were armed with probable cause. And they were able to create a 37-page search warrant.
Dang.
And it was served on July 31st, 1996.
Is that normal for them to be that long?
I mean, it's thorough.
I mean, I guess they have to give you the reasons and stuff like that.
The reasons and everything that they can possibly search. So
Okay.
if they
Oh.
if it's not in the search warrant, then they can't search it, like
Okay.
a closet or a computer.
So if they forget to put like something in it, they can't do that.
Correct.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So like, oh no, you don't have a warrant to search my computer. You do not get to look at it.
Interesting.
So yeah. So they went to the great room where the new chair and carpet were. Under the rug, the hardwood floor was clean, but next to it, they found 2 spots on the baseboard that looked like dried blood. And like, let me tell you, when I say they're spots, they are tiny spots.
Yeah, they must be, because I mean, like if you've murdered someone, you're gonna try to do a really thorough job of cleaning
Sure.
up.
Yeah.
Like,
And he's a lawyer,
heavy
so he knows what to
bleach.
look
Yeah.
for. Mm-hmm.
So like that had to be really small.
Yeah, it was pretty small. So they swabbed it and looked for more evidence. Oh, sorry, they swabbed it and took it for evidence. Unfortunately, they couldn't determine if it belonged to Anne because they didn't have her body. So they couldn't use it to match, and her parents had passed away. And they can't use the siblings because their DNA does not it doesn't match as
Right.
much. So they said it's not worth it because they only have
Another dead end.
Mm-hmm. So it was another dead end. So, however, Anne's siblings said that she had donated blood a month before she disappeared. So they went down to the lab to get a sample, but it had already been reduced to plasma and was shipped away.
Ah.
So they're like, cool.
Do you like donating blood? Sorry, that's random.
I actually have never done it.
I haven't donated blood in forever, and I used to do it all the time, and I've been wanting to donate blood again.
I'm
Sorry, random.
It's okay. You should do it.
We should go donate blood together.
That would be a fun thing to do.
We could be blood sisters.
Yes. So that was another dead end.
Okay.
On
That sucks.
Yep. On August 6th, a project manager, Sean Taylor, for the contracting company for the Capanos family called the detective's office. He said he knew something that may help the investigation, so he met with the authorities secretly because he was scared what may happen to him if anyone knew, aka the brothers, knew he was talking to them. He told them something strange happened the day after Anne was reported missing. He said on July 1st, he was ordered by Louis Capone, one of Thomas's brothers, to pull 4 dumpsters on the property his project was to be pulled and dumped.
Man, to be that person, I have to do that.
I know. Well, I'm guessing that they just used.
I mean, I've been dumpster diving, so it's not that big of a deal, I guess.
And he thought it was odd because none of them were even full. He's like, okay, you guys are always worried about money, and this costs a lot of money to dump this, but all right. So he thought it was out of character. So in August, an evidence recovery team went to the dump site where the dumpster was dumped. They searched for 4 days with nothing, not even a piece of fabric, nothing.
No hair?
Nothing. So unfortunately, they didn't have anything against Thomas to bring him in. They also searched an ocean boat that the family had recently sold in hopes that that could be evidence or have evidence on it. Unfortunately, they didn't find anything, but did find it odd that they sold the boat without any anchors. So that's weird. Because, like, when you sell the boat, like, why are you keeping
Yeah, boat
anchors?
is included in anchor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, but later that month, investigators got a call from the blood bank, and they were able to stop the plasma that was donated before it was used.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so they, like, got it, like, en route. They weren't positive the plasma would actually work because the plasma is separated from the DNA, so it doesn't always have any DNA cells in it. But with a little luck, it had enough DNA to show it matched Anne's. Yay.
They needed that luck so bad.
So bad.
Oh, no. I see your face. But
It's not enough to
incriminate
him.
Yep.
You can't arrest someone off of a hunch. So
wait, but it matched blood that was in his house. How is that a hunch?
I don't know.
How is that a hunch? That's like, why is someone's blood in your house that person is missing?
But I mean, there's blood in my house probably of me somewhere.
Yeah, maybe of children getting scratched.
Yeah, so
it's such a little tiny thing.
Yeah, it's a small little thing, and there's no other evidence besides her going missing.
I'm so annoyed. I want this.
I know. So they had someone go undercover and keep track of all of Jerry Capone's moves for 11 months.
Oh, here we go.
Jerry is...
Jerry, Larry, Gary, Barry, Terry.
It's one of Thomas's brothers, but he's also, like, one of the shadier brothers. Like, he's been arrested before and stuff. Like, I think he's the youngest one.
Always send in the criminal. They know how to do things.
Yeah. So they followed him around for 11 months, hoping to, track him and possibly lead them to evidence on Anne's disappearance. They learned that he would go to bars and clubs often, and he also would use illegal drugs, which he has, what is it? A mark on his record. He has, like, a mark on his record for it.
Yeah.
So, for drug use. But along with collecting firearms, he loved collecting firearms. And they're like, you're not allowed to do that if you are a convicted felon.
You can't?
Own firearms?
Oh,
nope.
I didn't know that.
Oh, my gosh, Amy! If you are a convicted felon, you are not allowed to own guns.
Oh, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dang it. Just kidding.
You're like, hide the guns.
I gotta get rid of everything.
So, 15 months after Anne disappeared, after learning that he likes
15 months.
I know. After learning that he likes to collect firearms, the FBI raided Jerry's home, hoping they would find illegal drugs inside his home where he kept the firearms. Because, I mean, he has the firearms, but it's not enough to arrest him on, even though he's not supposed to have it. But if there's drugs inside the house, boom, like that's
right there.
They can arrest him. So they were hoping to find drugs inside the house, which they could use leverage, if they did, to get him to confess what he knows about Anne. And with some luck, they were able to find cocaine.
Well, that's called blackmail.
That is called blackmail.
But it's okay.
It's okay, because they call it leverage.
Yeah. That's called blackmail, but it's okay, because they call it leverage.
And so they found cocaine, and the police offered him immunity if he testified against his brother. And basically forcing Jerry, the poor guy, he's like, I just want to shoot firearms and do my drugs.
Shoot heroin.
Yeah, come on. But forcing him to pick between his family and his drugs, and his brother, because he had a wife and children.
Oh, okay.
So, a year and a half after Anne's disappearance, Jerry met with the FBI, and he's like, all right, I'll do it. So he told them that Thomas went to Jerry.
What? They named their kids Thomas and Jerry. I just got that. Wait, what? Tom and Jerry?
Oh. I was like, yeah, Thomas and Jerry. That's funny. Yeah, those parents have a sense of humor. So a year and a half after Anne's disappearance, Jerry met with the FBI and he was like, I will tell you everything. And he told them that Thomas went to Jerry with a problem in February of 1996. So even before Anne's disappearance, saying that they were people, or he said Thomas told him that there were people threatening his children and he was being extorted. And Thomas asked Jerry to go get him cash and a gun and said, I may need help with the boat someday to dispose of the person's body who was extorting him. So he's like, I have this money, like, go get me this money. And if the money's not enough, I might have to kill him. Can you please help me dispose of the body with the boat? And Jerry's like, whatever, dude.
I just want to go do my drugs and shoot some guns.
Come on.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. And a month later, Jerry got a call from Thomas saying that he didn't need the gun after all and the money was enough. So Jerry's like, cool. Like, great. I'm glad the person just wanted the money.
Yeah.
So Jerry said then on June 29th, 1996, early in the morning, Thomas was parked at the end of Jerry's driveway. He went over to him and said he needed to borrow the boat. And Jerry's like, are you freaking kidding me? Did you kill someone? And Thomas was like, yeah, I did. The guy that was threatening my children. And so Jerry refused to help him. But with a lot of persuasion, Jerry agreed to meet with him at the harbor to help dispose of the body because, you know, Thomas doesn't like being told no. An hour later, they met in Thomas's garage where they moved an extra large cooler. And Jerry, thinking the whole time it was the body of the extortionist. They took the cooler to the harbor and loaded it onto the boat. And because it was the same type of cooler that fishermen use on fishing boats, it didn't draw any attention. They went 60 miles offshore where no one was near. They put the cooler over the edge, but it didn't sink.
Yeah, because it's a cooler.
It's a cooler. It's full of foam.
Yeah.
But Thomas, I mean, the smart guy is not street smart, for sure. So Thomas ordered Jerry to shoot it with a shotgun, but it still didn't sink. And so Thomas decided to sink the body without the cooler. He wrapped the anchors from the boat around her body and dumped her into the ocean. And on the way back to shore, Thomas removed the lid of the cooler and threw the cooler into the ocean. I don't know, like maybe he removed the cooler so it doesn't accidentally close so it would sink, but dude didn't like fill it with water. So
he just threw it in there?
He just threw it hoping it would sink without the lid.
But what if it had like DNA in it?
Well, he was hoping that it would sink.
You're dumb.
Yeah. But he didn't fill it with water.
But it didn't sink with a body in it. So it's going to sink on its own. You're dumb. You're dumb.
So they went back to Thomas's house to get rid of the couch and the rug.
Just saying, people got rid of bunk beds better than he got rid of a cooler.
No kidding. They went back to Thomas's house to get rid of the couch and the rug, where they dumped those in the dumpster at the construction site.
So the FBI or whatever, they were on the right track. They just missed it.
Yep.
He was just kind of like one step ahead of them.
Yep. And here's another thing is they were looking for a body when they went out to that dump site. They weren't looking for a couch and a rug. I mean, they could have been, but it's a dump site. There was going to be hundreds of couches and rugs.
Right.
So word got out that Jerry told the investigators everything. So the surveillance team followed Thomas to keep an eye on him, worried that he was going to actually kill his brothers to not be able to testify. And Thomas actually attempted to flee the country, but on the way to the airport, they're like, the people following him, they said, listen, like, they called the DA. They're like, he's going to flee the country. What do we do? What do we do? And so they're like, just arrest him. Like, just arrest him. So they were not positive that the arrest would stick because they didn't have a murder weapon or body. The only hard evidence that they had was her disappearance. Thomas saying that he brought her to the home that night, the tiny 2 blood spatters found it in his home, and what Jerry had told them. It should be enough, but it wasn't. Because you can't arrest someone off of a hunch. I'm so sorry. The Coast Guard searched the area of where the body was dumped in the ocean, but they never found it. Then they got a call from a citizen who said that they found a cooler floating in the ocean on the weekend of 4th of July.
Okay. I mean, but, 4th of July weekend. Cooler.
But
drunks.
I was watching, like, because I watched a documentary on it, and I was like, this guy is like, why? Why would you? I mean, I would probably take the cooler and like dispose of it, but let me just tell you, this guy called the police and said that the cooler matched the description of the cooler Jerry had brought the investigators. It was missing a lid and there was a bullet hole in it. And the person took the cooler from the ocean, thought that they may have used it for fishing and like caught a shark. Put it in the cooler and then shot the shark to kill it, and that's where the bullet hole came from and the blood. So the dude's like, it's still good use, so he cleaned it up.
Oh no!
And patched the holes, got a new lid for it, and used it for his own.
Oh my gosh!
That's why I was like, why?
What? And why go through all that trouble? Like, patch it? Like, just go buy a new cooler. Like, how much did that cost to do that? Would you do duct tape it? Or?
In the documentary, he said it was a perfectly brand new cooler.
I'm sure. Well, and coolers can be expensive.
They can.
So I get that. It had to have been a nice cooler.
Yeah.
Like a Yeti or like those Ozark ones or whatever from Walmart.
Yeah. It had to have been because
that's not
It has
and then you see the blood. Like you see blood in a bullet hole.
Yeah. Like
why would your mind are you that dull that you can't like
I guess some people just don't
have
think
you ever
that true
watched
crime...
a damn movie before?
It was the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
So, the part code on the cooler matched the cooler Thomas had purchased with his credit cards. So there it is. The slam
finally
dunk.
over freaking cooler.
But they still can't find a murder weapon.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry. And early on in the case, they learned that Thomas had another mistress, Debbie.
Little Debbie?
Sorry, yes, I just remembered how to pronounce it. Okay. Debbie McIntyre.
Oh, okay.
And so they searched her credit card purchases and learned in May of 1996 she actually purchased a gun, a .22 caliber Beretta. So what?
Why? Never mind.
Okay,
go ahead.
So Miss Debbie was brought in, and she admitted that Thomas had asked her to purchase the gun. So we finally had enough to present the case to the DA.
Oh my God, finally.
They were going to trial, baby. Thomas claimed during the trial that he and Anne had resolved their differences, and they were spending time with each other at his house when Debbie, his other girlfriend, showed up. She threatened to kill herself, but then ended up shooting Anne while Thomas was trying to take the gun from Debbie. And instead of calling the police, because that's what you should do, he tried to dispose of Anne's body to protect Debbie and himself, claiming she killed her on accident. And the state's defense, their version of the events was he forced Anne to his home. He shot her in cold blood, stuffed her in the cooler, then went over to her house to bring her fresh groceries and a new pantsuit to lay out, and very carefully covered up his tracks.
It's actually really smart that he did and like preceded her
Made it look like she
her
was
normal
still doing,
routine.
Yeah. Yeah. The verdict came back, and Thomas was found guilty on first-degree murder and was sentenced to the gas chamber.
Ooh.
Yep. It was one of very few first-degree U.S. murders cases that got a conviction without, even though there was no body, no weapon, and no witness to the killing. Because the gun was never discovered. So they're just going off of what...
Which means it's probably in the ocean.
Probably, yeah. And the prosecution was led by Colm F. Colony, and a then 33-year-old assistant U.S. attorney who had never tried a murder case before.
Wow.
That guy did it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, this is going to be the start of my career.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
on
awesome.
September 19th, 2011, while waiting on death row pending appeals, Thomas was found dead due to a cardiac arrest.
Well, rest easy. There's not another guy that'll stuff you in a cooler out in the world.
I'm just happy that he died alone.
Yeah. What a
poor
piece
Thomas.
of garbage. Thomas and Jerry.
Yeah.
What happened to Jerry?
He got immunity.
Good.
So because
I mean, not good. No, good. Because, he came and, he knew that he went too far, clearly. And he was like, okay.
Well, he shouldn't have done what his brother said, but I also get, he's your bigger brother.
Yeah.
He's more successful than you. He probably pays for some of your bills, sort of
Yeah.
thing. So I get that. And you're just like, I really don't want to do this. And in the documentary, he said he didn't want anything to do with it. So when when Thomas was wrapping up her body with the anchors, he actually sat in the front of the boat, and he didn't even know what he was doing. And they probably would have not even been able to use his testimony. But at the very last second, he said, "Are you done?" and turned around and saw a body being dumped into the ocean. And because he witnessed that,
he had to.
Because he witnessed him dumping the body, they were able to use his testimony. Otherwise, if he didn't actually see the body,
nothing would be.
Yeah. They would have not been able to use his testimony.
That's good.
So, they got really lucky.
Dang.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I know, I told you. I was like, there's so much.
I was like, another dead end.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention the stupid boat. I don't care about the stupid boat. It's a dead end anyways.
So important.
And then at the end, I'm like, oh, it's so important.
To find more information. Yeah, I get that. That is kind of how my story is.
Tell me your story, please.
So I needed a story to go off of this week, so I told Josh to pick a state, and I went into my little book that you got me.
Oh, yay! Oh, it's right here.
Yes, right there. So we went with, do you want to look at Minnesota?
Yeah, I want to look at the picture.
Minnesota.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. I was just wondering the same thing.
It's so embarrassing, first off.
It's okay. I was trying to look up what they're famous for. They're famous for, juicy... Oh, what are they called? The juice something? It's like a burger with cheese inside the meat and tater tot casseroles and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I can get on board with that.
Yeah, I like that. Minnesota, page 56. Oh, this is fun. Wait, I don't have pages on here. Gosh dang it. You go ahead. I will catch up.
So... this week, I'm covering the Palmer House Hotel. Oh. And a lot like yours, Is everything okay? We just have to plug it back in and it'll be okay, right? Is it gonna stop recording for the rest of it?
No, it's working.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
No, it's not. Yeah, it is. It's working. Okay.
Oh, it took a second to power on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
I'll keep
so
my commentary to a minimum just in case.
we are going to Minnesota to the Palmer House Hotel.
That sounds really interesting.
I thought you were going to say that sounds familiar, and I'm like, probably because you made that book for me.
Maybe that's what it was, because that's what I was gonna say, but it was like, interesting.
So a lot like your story, I wanted to pick kind of an easy story this week because I'm trying to spend as much time with the family, and
Sure.
I had stuff going on too. So I wanted to pick somewhat of an easy story, but this one just kept on like giving me more information, and I'm like, God dang it, I have to include that, or oh, that's so good. Like, oh, I have to write. So I thought I was coming up with like a 5-page, maybe 4-page story, and it ended up being like 7 or 8 pages. So you're in.
That's okay with me.
Okay, so it's a good one. So prior to the Palmer House Hotel stood the Sauk Center house, which was where this is located in Sauk Center, Minnesota. It was a hotel built in 1863, but prior to it being Sauk Center or something else, it was a saloon, a brothel, and a hotel.
Uh-huh.
Then after it was purchased, blah, 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 I messed all that up.
How
Okay.
fun.
So I'm going to start that over. Ah! Prior to the Palmer House Hotel stood the Sauk Center House, which was built in 1863. Then after that, it was bought by an E.P. Barnum in 1867 and being called the Barnum Hotel or the Minnesota House. Finally, in 1868, it was bought and named the Apfield Feld House.
Okay.
That's not really that important, but some of that's important.
Okay.
It was known to be not only a hotel, but a pub and a brothel, or a saloon and a brothel.
Ooh.
So,
love that.
shady stuff happened.
Oh, don't love that.
In 1900, it mysteriously burned down on June 26th. No one was really upset about it. All the locals were actually kind of relieved because of all the things that went on there, and they were just like, that was kind of like an eyesore. So,
Okay.
Mr. Palmer came in and he's like, this looks like a great opportunity. Let's build here. And so he built the Palmer House Hotel.
I love that.
It was built by Ralph and Christina J. Palmer. It was in the heart of the city, just a block from the train station, which meant it attracted many newcomers and lots of like businessmen, just people coming through town.
Yeah.
The family actually lived there with their 2 children, Hazel and Carlisle, and the mother's mother, and her brother, who actually ended up working there as like a maintenance guy or something. The hotel was considered to be modern and like first class for its time. It was the first building in the city with indoor plumbing and electricity. So
no more outhouses.
No more outhouses. And apparently within this first 6 months of being open, a lot of switches had to be, pretty much all the switches and lights had to be replaced because people who would come there would be like so fascinated, like on, off, on, off, on, off. And so they were just, it was headlined in the newspaper as sparkling and twinkling lights.
Aww.
So originally the hotel was 3 story, it is still 3 stories, and it housed 38 rooms with guests sharing like a common bathroom area down the hall.
Oh.
Yeah, not fun.
No.
Now the hotel has 19 due to expanding some of the rooms and giving everybody their own bathrooms.
Sure.
Some of them including a jacuzzi.
Ooh, fancy.
I know, right? Sinclair Lewis, a very famous writer who was from that area, actually worked there while he was in high school. Well, I say worked, but he was like hired and fired over and over and over. And apparently he was caught like writing a lot. So, I mean, he was caught doing his becoming a writer.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like, I don't know, the birthplace for him. But
what was his name again?
Sinclair Lewis.
Oh, okay.
So rumor has it there's actually a room in the basement that has some of his poems on the walls.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not. In his novel Main Street, he actually writes about the Palmer House, calling it the Mimeshire House. So he's actually included it in his book, so it's had some kind of an impact on him.
Yeah.
In 1993, the hotel went through major renovations and restorations, carefully keeping Mr. Palmer's work and ideas, but making some ideas, wiring,
Right.
and, it also giving everybody their private bathrooms.
That's very important.
Yes. I like to make a deuce every now and then.
Bri.
Since the Palmers, the hotel was owned by no more than 20 owners until 2002, Kelly Freese and her husband purchased the hotel. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and when Kelly first purchased it, she was unaware of any of the paranormal activity there and was pretty much a skeptic. She'd never been around it or anything and didn't believe in it.
Yeah.
But she quickly became a believer and even had the guests were experiencing things and so were the staff. So she would have them put down their experiences in the guest book. Yeah.
I love that.
So this place kind of reminds me of the Anchorage hotel. She claimed that she was approached by one day she claimed that she was approached by a psychic woman who was temporarily staying at the hotel. And the lady had told her that she had had a dream about someone telling her that there was a body buried underneath the stairs in the basement.
Ew.
So naturally, Kelly goes and she grabs a spoon from the kitchen and goes and starts digging. And,
with a spoon?
Yeah, like a big ladle spoon. And she starts to find rib bones.
No.
She put them in a box to show her husband, got distracted by a phone call, came back, and they were gone.
Well, her husband
And
ate them.
Ribs. Oh my God, ribs sound so good right now. I'm not even joking. I'm so hungry. Okay, so while this is a ghost story, there hasn't been too many like traumatic incidents reported here. People have definitely had to do a lot of digging when they find things. But also it's a hotel, so people die in their sleep or just die naturally of a heart attack or there are suicides. So things like that happen and they're not always reported, at least not in the news. So I do have a few. In 1868, May 7th, a 5-year-old boy fell off the stairs, and this was found by like a historian. But he found that a 5-year-old boy had fallen off the stairs, smashing his skull. And that was in the hotel before it was the Palmer Hotel. It was whenever it was the previous place.
Oh my
Barnum.
gosh.
The article didn't say if he lived or not, so we'll get to that.
You smashed your skull.
Remember, it was a 5-year-old boy on the stairs,
Poor
so just
baby.
keep that in mind.
Okay.
In the 1900s, a young boy died of the flu here. On Ghost Adventures, they were like surprised that nothing big had been reported here, so they went to the local historical library and they found an old type testimony from a previous owner in the 1950s stating a man had hung himself in the bar by jumping off the pool table and his body was discovered the next morning.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I've never seen them go and dig on an investigation before and go find stuff like that. I thought it was really cool that they did that.
They maybe because they needed.
Yeah, they just needed some history on it.
Yeah.
More history. There was another report of a man committing suicide upstairs at some point. They didn't say the date or anything.
Right.
So, the hotel has had lots of paranormal reports going all the way back to the 1950s. There's even newspaper articles about it.
That's so cool.
Most reports are pretty harmless, but some have caused guests to throw their keys in the current owner's face in the middle of the night, running out trying to escape the hotel.
That's
there are some specific rooms that are more haunted than others, so we're gonna go over a couple rooms. In room 11, it has been reported to have extreme cold spots and having a heavy feeling when going into the room. Not too unusual in a haunted place.
I wouldn't mind the cold spots because I like to be cold.
Yeah well, just wait.
Put the cold spot on the bed and I'll be fine.
How cold do you like to be? 60s?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So not -1. One night, a guest was sleeping with his legs out of the sheets. Big mistake in a haunted hotel.
Big mistake.
Period.
Always.
Why would you sleep with your sheet? No. So he felt someone's fingers stroke him, like his leg, and then he jumped up to see what it was and saw nothing. I would freak out. Evidently, this room belongs to a permanent resident named Annie. Permanent as in...
She never leaves.
Yeah. So, it's her room.
Annie.
So, newlyweds were staying in the room number 17 when one night the wife woke up to see a lanky man dressed in 1920s and 30s clothing standing at the front of the bed. Also, guests have complained of leaving the room and returning to the furniture being moved. That would totally be me because I would be like so bored in the afterlife and be like, okay, this room needs a change up. We need to rearrange furniture.
We need to fix the aesthetics here.
Lastly, this room is known to be a woman's room named Lucy. She was a lady of the night. Apparently, she'll shut the door.
She was a sex worker.
Sex worker. It said lady of the night on the website.
I know.
Sorry.
That's what they were called back then.
She was a sex worker. She also likes to shake the pictures on the wall and change the temperature. So you said you maybe 60s. Well, some paranormal experts who were staying there asked her to change the temperature in the room, and within 20 minutes, they changed it. She changed it from 65 to -1.
How did she do that? There's no way.
Like I was like, am I reading this right? Like -1? What? That's so freaking cold. Like
it's so cold, but how?
Did you bring Alaska into the room?
She couldn't have just changed it on the thermostat. Like that was like
her so much energy.
Yeah.
She's also been seen sitting on one of the two chairs in the room, smoking a cigarette with the left side of her face beat up and the right side of her scalp hanging off her skull. So she went through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
She doesn't like people sitting in both of her chairs. So
those are my chairs.
Well, the current owner, Kelly, went in during a paranormal investigation, and she was showing which room is whose and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so she said, this is Lucy's room, and there are two chairs in there, and then there's a bed. And she's like, you can sit down in the chair. She said, and then they both sat down. She's like, just don't sit down in both of them. She's like, she doesn't like it. And they're like, why not? And she's like, well, she was a sex worker. How do you think she got treated in the bed? Like, there's nowhere for her to sit. So.
Oh, so leave the
chair.
So
she was she was definitely abused.
Yeah, that poor lady.
And she was abused apparently by another permanent resident that's there. So I'll go over him in a little bit.
Oh my God, she has to live with his abuser
right?
constantly.
What a jerk.
Her whole afterlife.
I know, it makes me think of American Horror Story Hotel, the hotel season where everybody's just stuck there. But they're super happy because the people who own the hotel run it good. So I feel like this lady Kelly runs it good and like makes all the spirits there like calm and happy and like.
But do you think? Okay, question. Do you think that what was her Betty?
Lucy?
Lucy. Do you think that Lucy sees the person that possibly abused her?
I don't know. I wonder that.
Like, do you think that the ghosts interact with each other?
Maybe.
Because that would really suck for her.
That would suck. It was like always like, oh, I bumped into him again today.
Yeah. That would
such
really
a jerk.
Suck.
I would hope not. That would suck.
Yeah. But I also hope so. Sorry. I also hope so because like I want the families to be like forever together.
Oh, but not in their situation. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like
if it were a family.
Yeah, and like the kids get to play with the kids.
I think so in some situations.
Maybe
I think it just depends.
Their energy.
Yeah. So room 18 has had reports from the guests below staying here. Apparently they've heard someone walking around at night, like the room below 18. Someone walking around at night, sitting on the bed and then taking off their shoes, and they can tell, like, you can tell when someone, like, I mean, I guess if you're like in an apartment and you can tell when like someone's doing that kind of stuff. I don't know, it's pretty thin floors if you ask me.
Well, it's back then.
Yeah,
you'd pick up one foot, you can feel it,
and then you feel a thump from the shoe. And
then they put their foot down.
But that's kind of like what you hear. It's like someone getting ready for the day or getting ready for bed.
Weird.
And only to find that no one's actually in that room above you.
So creepy.
So, with that room, whenever Kelly first opened up the hotel, she didn't have anyone staying there yet because they were still doing like maintenance and last minute work.
Right.
She had her dad stay there, who was who did some of the maintenance, and he lived there.
Yeah.
So he approached her one day and he's like, I didn't know you already started letting people come into the hotel. And she's like, what do you mean? I haven't. And he's like, well, every night I've heard someone roaming upstairs on the 3rd floor above me in rooms 18 and 19.
Oh, no.
And he was a skeptic, too. So, in one of the rooms, there is a ghost cat
Leon!
that you can hear scratching on the door and jumping on the bed at night.
Oh, Leon,
It's actually been photographed from outside the room in the window, too, but there's no cat in the hotel.
Oh, I love that so much.
You're gonna love this next part. Whenever someone books that room, the hotel people like ask, "Do you have any allergies to cats?" Like,
yes,
I think that is so
that.
cute.
Sorry,
Like,
give me a wake, baby.
embrace the
Yeah.
cat ghost. Some of the things downstairs, toilets flush on their own. Welcome to the 21st century.
Right.
It's totally not that, guys, but I'm just making a joke. Electric issues like lights flickering and the TVs going off, despite everything being up to date and rewired. Oh, that was so cute. Oh, he's like a baby.
Yeah. He got so heavy for my arms. I rested him on the table.
Items in the room go missing all the time, especially remote controls. That's a pretty big one.
Oh, that means there's a ghost in my house.
Get one of those tag things. After opening up, they were finding the crystal wine glasses being smashed on the floor or against the walls.
Oh my gosh.
And they were going through so many wine glasses that she talked to one of her psychic friends and she was like, look, it's them. Don't be afraid to lay down the law. You're in charge here. So Kelly was like, she's like, okay. So she went and told the spirit. She's like, hey, you can't be doing this. You got to stop. And it worked.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Another thing happening is silverware moving on its own after setting the tables in the dining room. Usually I guess they set them at night and then they'll just move it around and rearrange themselves.
That reminds me of that one it was
the spaghetti factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, me too. The chef has heard footsteps moving across wet floor when mopping, as well as a wet puddle randomly appearing in the middle of the kitchen floor for no reason.
Yucky.
I did hear on a podcast about something about wet footprints being seen as well. I didn't put that in here for some reason, which is weird.
I'm gonna
disturbing.
start blaming the ghost on the random puddle that's in our kitchen every once in a while.
No, is it Ice Cube?
Well, I think it's like our water dispenser like leaks every once in a while. But Rick blames it on me, and I'm like, it's not me. Like,
why are you getting so mad? Oh, probably because he's getting his feet wet.
Yeah, and it's not like a little puddle. It's like
a big one.
It's like that big,
dude. It's a ghost.
I'm gonna start saying it's a ghost because.
Am I still on?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
No, he'll be like,
so paranoid.
Amy did the water wrong again. I'm like, how do I?
Oh my gosh.
He's mostly teasing me, but it gets on my nerves. I'm like, bro. So now I'm gonna be like, oh no, it's a ghost. It's a ghost thing.
It's a ghost thing. You wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get it.
So the staff actually experiences a lot of things. A night clerk one night claimed to see a guy in the pub and asked him like, hey, you want a beer? Like, you're just hanging out around here. The place is closed, locked up, and everybody's in bed. And so they had like a small conversation and exchanged money for the beer. And the clerk had said it was too much money that he had given him. And so he needed change. But he didn't have access to like get change.
Right, because everything was closed.
Yeah. So the man like pulled out $1.25 and he's like, okay, that's good enough.
Yeah.
And so he watched him go back up the stairs, assuming he was going back to bed. And the next morning he discussed it with the hotel owner and she was like, there was no man here by that description or anything, and he didn't see anyone leave or anything. So
Where'd he get the money? Is he stealing it from other?
getting it from it's ghost money.
Yeah, but how?
I don't know. You have it still. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
weird.
it's weird.
I know, it's weird to think about that stuff. It's like, where do they get these toys from?
And
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
oh,
Sorry.
and then it's like, okay, can ghosts just like make money?
Like, can I just manifest $1 million right now?
Yeah, I would let a ghost follow me around
In
for
my
like
hands right now.
a
Money.
week.
Everything's going missing though in the hotel too, so maybe they're stealing guests'
And then
money.
turning around and selling it.
Yeah. Nice. The hotel owner or the hotel or whatever is just like, hey, we're short on change this month, ghosts. If you can hear me, go steal about $20 worth of money out of guests' pockets.
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, they don't do that. It's a really good hotel. Don't think that. So anyway.
But it's funny to think about.
Yeah. A staff member has claimed to have talked to a woman that looked just like the Mr. Palmer's daughter, and there's photographs because the history of it. There's photographs of everything and everyone there. Also, Mr. Palmer's mother-in-law, or Miss Palmer's mother, who lived there with them, has also been spotted in a red dress.
Ooh.
And they know it's her because there's a photograph of her in that same red dress. And apparently, it was like mysteriously pulled off the wall, like fell off the wall with a nail.
Yeah.
And they never put it back up because they were just like, maybe she just doesn't like that picture.
She doesn't like that picture.
I don't know.
That'd be me. I untag all the photos on Facebook.
I love that you just said that because the podcast I listened to for this literally said the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Shout out. Which podcast was it? Oh, crap.
My mom, when she posts a photo of me and she doesn't even tag it, I'll be like, take it down, take it down. She's like, it's such a beautiful photo of you. And I'm like, have like 4 chins and I'm like, look angry at the world. And I'm like, take it down. She hates going on vacation with my sister and I because the whole time we're like,
You're
take
just
it
like,
down.
that doesn't look right. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's not a good angle.
Sometimes I just give up. It depends on my mood.
It was Morbid, by the way, the podcast.
Oh, yeah. My mom listens to that one.
Yeah, M was on it from, and that's why we drink sheet, because I was looking to see who's covered it, because I was like, surely I can't be not getting enough information. Like, is anyone else getting information like I'm getting? And so I don't like to listen to podcasts, especially that we like. But if I absolutely need to make sure like they're covering the same topics and I'm getting the same,
listening to them for information.
Yeah. Yes.
You just said I don't like listening to podcasts.
I do.
That we like.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, they said something about it's like that century's version of untagging a picture, and I was
take the photo down.
That's really funny that you said that. Okay. Anyway,
look at him.
He's so sweet. It's warm in here. He's used to it, or he's getting sleepy.
Oh, he just. I started petting him, and he went.
Oh, little baby, sweet Leon. He's so sweet.
Sorry, another thing. I'm sorry. I was talking to a daycare parent today, and she was looking at her son. You know who I'm talking about. Okay, and Leon was right behind him, like a little bit away. And she looked at her son. I thought we were talking about my cat because we had just talked about him. And she said, he's getting so big. And I looked at Leon and I was like, I know. And then I realized she looked at her son again. She's like, stop growing up. And I was like, oh, there it is. Yep. Yeah, we're talking about your kid. Yeah, stop growing up.
Hashtag cat mom.
Sorry.
Aw, that's funny.
She listens to me, so when she hears that, I'm sorry.
She's gonna know.
I'm sorry.
Amy totally thought you were talking about her cat. Maybe she was secretly talking about Leon and then was like, I sound like a crazy person, so I'm gonna just look at my son right now.
Yeah.
That's funny. There is a playroom here. Dum dum dum.
Oh, I love that.
It's upstairs, and often voices are heard, and children playing, are just heard playing up there, and there's no one
There's
up there.
no children.
There's
I don't like
none.
that.
Children staying here have told their parents of playing with another kid, even though there was no children there.
Bri.
Some reports including the sighting of a young boy with dirty blonde hair and green eyes on the stairs on his way up to the second floor have been put out. Staff members have reported seeing a young boy bounce a ball down the hall and then chase after it.
Oh, I
The
like
ball.
that.
Many guests have complained of kids playing in the hall at night, but there's no kids staying there at the time. Like, they'll tell them as they're checking out.
Oh, that's so weird.
The owner, Kelly, not long after she first got there, I believe, she felt something grab her palm and then her hand, and then her head.
Ew.
Yeah. Another moment, another time, she was on the third floor folding towels, Kelly, and she stated she could feel someone walking up behind her. She said it was like I could see somebody with a dark cape come up to me, and then the next instant I had a hard time swallowing. It just felt like choking sensations around my neck, but I kept saying out loud, I'm not leaving, I'm not leaving.
Oh my gosh.
She mentioned the encounter to a friend who was a psychic, and the friend told her it was an entity named Raymond who was trying to get her attention and was very territorial of his room, which is room 22. Not the same as Lucy.
That is wild.
Yeah, he's not
So
a very
scary.
friendly ghost there. And apparently he's the people believe that he's the ghost that had Lucy.
Relations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucy was his sex worker or whatever. He didn't treat her very good.
Raymond sounds like a very awful person.
Yes, Raymond's a jerk. So the basement, there is a basement here, and in the basement is probably one of the more spookier places.
Okay.
Going down there, it's very common to have like a heavy feeling, and some people have reported of something malevolent down there. Kelly has seen a shadowy figure down here, and her husband, who was with her at the time, claimed to see glowing red eyes.
Ew,
and what looked like a wolf. The figure moved into, dogs, demonic. That just sounds demonic.
That's what I was thinking.
The figure moved into the room, and the lights went out, casting a heavy feeling on them. Many visitors and investigators call one of the rooms down there the dog room because they hear dogs barking in there when there's no dogs.
Stop it.
On tours,
No.
they encourage you to bring dog toys to kind of coax the dogs to
calm
bark,
them
I
down.
guess, or something.
Oh, to get them to bark?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't want a dog non-dog barking at me.
I'm trying to experience some ghosty stuff. I don't want to hear dog bark. I hear that enough at my own house.
But it's not even a dog, Bri. It's a demonic dog.
It's a demonic dog.
That doesn't
demon dog.
A demon dog.
To top it all off, there are some Christmas decorations down here.
Oh, I like that.
One of them being a snowman that dances and turns on lights and stuff, and without being plugged in, he turns on all the time. So
I don't know if I like that or not.
I guess during a paranormal investigation, they were down there and they were talking about it, like about how it doesn't work anymore. Because it has no power to it. It's not plugged in. Like, it literally has to be plugged in to work. And they caught on the EVP saying, it works. It does.
Oh, okay. All right.
Creepy little snowman.
Creepy little snowman.
Other paranormal evidence are like EVPs, EMF readings, disembodied voices and whispers, apparitions, temperature drops, being touched or pushed by unseen forces.
Oh my gosh.
Footsteps, seeing things fly off the walls or hooks, strange explained noises, and knocks. There's a website that they have, the Palmer House Hotel. You can look it up, and they have all their a bunch of paranormal investigations and evidence on there. So as of today, the Palmer House is still owned by Kelly Freese and her husband, listed on the National Register. You can book and stay. Just drop in for a drink or a tour, as long as you sign a waiver, of course.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
you need a waiver for the tour.
Makes sense.
Aside from its permanent residents, the staff are known to be pretty welcoming and warm, and I guess the food there is pretty good too. So according to Yelp,
Cool.
I did get a couple of Yelp reviews.
Yes, those are our favorite.
So there were quite a few negative ones, which it's just the stupid reasons.
Yeah.
Because like it was things like complaining about the hotel being old and like out of date, and like it was built in like the 1900s, like the early 1900s. Of course, it's out of date and old, and they're trying to like. It's on Main Street. It's in downtown, so
well,
like they're gonna keep up with that.
Yeah, they're gonna keep. They're
Prudes.
going to keep up with technology and things like that. But
Yeah.
they also want to preserve
The atmosphere needs to be.
Yes.
Yeah, like walking back in time. No, you're not going to stay at that hotel because you want the Hilton or something.
Correct. You don't want the automatic water and stuff like that.
Another one of the negative reviews complained about someone being loud in the hallways all night long, and it makes me wonder if it was something paranormal going on.
One of the kids.
Yeah, they were complaining about people being super loud in the halls all night long, and none of the staff did anything about it. But like, I'm pretty sure the staff, like at 11 o'clock, they go home for the night.
Yeah, except for the
the night clerk. Yeah. But yeah,
the
they
staff
just
didn't do it. Yeah, because everyone knows
because nothing's gonna
happen.
happen. They're not gonna do anything about it. They're just gonna.
It's haunted.
Okay, there's
you
nothing
go
here.
to that hotel knowing it's haunted.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a break.
Like I really want to stay at this hotel. If we ever go to Minnesota, buddy.
We're just gonna have to go on a hotel stay tour.
Yeah, definitely.
While we go on tour with our listeners.
Yes. Go on tour. Hashtag goals for 2023 or 24. 24 because I'll still be in Alaska in 2023. So.
Yeah.
And Amy apparently is moving with me. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you go to Switzerland.
I won't. It's okay.
Russia.
It's okay. No.
Ireland.
No.
I'm not saying where you're actually going on purpose.
Oh, okay. Because you're worried that our fans are going to follow us. Yeah. Cool.
It was to respect your husband, where he might get
You're
to.
so respectful.
Josh.
So, Josh. So many Joshes in the world. Just Joshin', guys. So this one is titled Haunted Hotel, and it gives a 5-star.
I just got that joke.
It says, my daughter and I stayed in this hotel to experience some of the alleged paranormal experiences said to take place here. We stayed in Lucy's room. Twice during the night, I thought my daughter was moving around in the bed, and she was fast asleep. We did have a ball roll about in the children's playroom when we requested the child to play with us. There were many orbs in the pictures we took. The non-haunted aspects of the hotel were excellent. We loved every meal we had in the pub. The desk clerk and bartender were both informative, and history of the hotel and where to shop around town. The hotel is empty at night except for guests, so you get a real at-home stay where we definitely would like to go back.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's cool that they requested.
Yeah. This one's titled Excellent. I intend to be back again. And I think this had way more to it, but it was talking about the hotels, so I just included the haunty spooky stuff. Had a wonderful night here. I did have an experience in the hotel. I saw a woman, and in parentheses, ghost, leaning over our bed at night around 4 a.m.
No.
But it disappeared as soon as I saw it. I was so tired, I just went back to sleep after it happened. How do you go back to sleep from that? Like, nope. I would have to turn on the TV.
I get that, where it's like, I'm too tired to deal with this right now.
Like, not today, sleep demon.
It's not happening. This is fate.
I would have to turn on something. I'd turn on like Friends or something.
Yeah, but when I get super spooked out, because I really don't like the vibes sometimes that come from our sunroom, and it's mainly because I spook myself up.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
so, and I don't like open spaces like
I get that.
Like I can't, anyway, so I have to just look at like memes or something to tire my brain out. But there's a few times where I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, I feel spooked out. No, I'm not dealing with this.
Not today, sleep
Yeah.
demons. This one is titled Fun, Scary VIP Treatment. Most definitely, this place is haunted. I took 98 pictures during our stay and captured some really scary pictures.
Ew.
I captured a photo of Hank in the basement. I don't know if I mentioned Hank. He was a maintenance worker and he's a permanent resident.
Okay.
I captured a photo of Hank in the basement and some other faces in room 11 that look kind of evil. Can't really explain this one. One of my cousins in every photo appears to be about 40 years younger. We heard footsteps, smelled the scent of a dated woman's perfume. I could go on and on with all of our experiences. I can sum it up by craziest place I've ever stayed at. And that's all. And I'm done. Ba-boom. There were so many more reviews on there, but I was like, I need to calm down and cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center, Minnesota.
I would stay there with you if we ever go to Minnesota.
It sounds pretty harmless. Like unless you go into the basement, which you should watch the Ghost Adventures episode of it. It's
maybe I will tonight, actually.
It was a fun one.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked it.
Thank you.
What just happened?
You close this in the wire.
It scared me.
You're good.
Yeah, do you have a neighborhood story for me?
Yeah, I have a neighborhood story for you. So, it's pretty short and sweet. It's from next door. I'm thinking of staying in the Motel 6 next week. The one off of Madison and 80 Highway. How murdered should I expect to be?
That is a fair question.
I mean,
so for after me and Josh got married, we had our honeymoon that was scheduled we were scheduled to go to Disney 2 days later.
Yeah.
But we had family in town and they were staying at our house and we're like, we don't want to spend the night of our first night married together at our house with family there. So we decided to go to a Motel 6.
I mean, it's better than staying at home.
It was in a really nice, a very higher end beach area. So I was like, and all the pictures of it do not trust pictures of hotels online, guys, because they're lies.
They're lies.
They're lies.
1000%.
It looked so nice and updated. I'm like, damn, this is the nicest Motel 6 ever. Or maybe it was one of the 8 ones.
Super 8.
Super 8. I can't remember if it was Motel 6 or Super 8. Same thing, basically.
I've stayed in really nice Super 8s, though.
This one looked like it was nice, but, it was not. And we had a guy talking in Spanish the entire time on the phone right next to us because we had an adjoining room.
Oh, no.
He was very loud all night long. And the bed, it just smelled, it smells like it's been lived in for a really long time.
Yeah.
And it was the wall was rotted into the bathroom and it was just gross.
Ew.
That was our first night married.
Yay,
it was magical. Then we went to Disney, and that was
That was better.
That was magical.
Yeah.
That made up for it.
100%. I like to say something. I like to quote Jim Gaffigan in one of his. Do you know who he is?
Nope.
He's a comedian. He's really freaking funny. He's my favorite comedian. But my favorite jokes from him is, you can't pay me to buy you can't pay me $100 to take a used mattress, but I will 100% pay $100 to sleep in a used mattress at a hotel.
That is such a good point. True. But you're not living.
Yeah.
But still.
It's one of those things that you don't talk about it. You don't think about it, you don't talk about it.
Dang it, why'd you have to say that out loud?
I know. You can't pay me $100 to take a used mattress, but I'll pay $100 to sleep in a used mattress.
I love that. It's very true. Well, guys, it's late.
Oh my
We're gonna get out of
gosh.
here.
Yeah, we've been here for way too long.
It's okay. It was
Our
just
our eyes are getting glazed over because we're so tired.
it was the universe's way of saying that we need to spend more time together.
That's
so
what we like to say.
We're doing
Yeah.
that. So you can listen to us, you know where to find us on all the platforms. Please rate and review us on iTunes. It's super helpful.
Yeah.
Also follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And we also have a Facebook group where we're super active on, like to play games, and even sometimes have like contests to win some stuff.
Polls.
So polls, you know, we like to dance
Yeah.
on them. So yeah, make sure you get on the Facebook. And we
On
have
the
a website, whatswiththeneighbors.com.
And on there, you can find a link to everything that she just mentioned, along with a link to our merchandise, which is on our merchandise website. We have magnets and T-shirts, and along with a link to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/WWTN podcast. On there, you can get exclusive. If you want to be on the donor bus, for $3 a month, you can get exclusive content along with the episode early, or for $5 a month, you can get exclusive content along with our episodes unedited. Feel free to slide into our DMs with any questions, comments, or story suggestions.
Choo-choo!
Oh
Sorry.
my God, Bri. And that's wwtnpodcast@gmail.com. And have you checked in on the neighbors, buddy?
What's with the neighbors?
Brittany
and Amy out.
Brittany. Your new name is Brittany. It's Buddy and Bri together.
Brittany
is tired.
Amy out.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
Say hi to your cats for me.
Meow. We're smelling their butts right now.
No, we're not.